Hello, hello, welcome back to the Celebration Cantina. I'm Eli hosting today's episode 2, with my good friend Sylvia here. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing very good. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you for taking the time out and just doing this conversation with me.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. I feel like I've been talking to you for so long,
I
even
know.
before the celebration started. So it's nice to finally meet you, see you, even just be on your channel to talk about Star Wars. So I'm very excited about today.
Well, thank you very much. I feel very honored to have you here. Um, But this show is, about talking about celebration, our experiences, what we liked, maybe what we thought could be improved, and just who knows what else. But I would first like to start off with, let's see, your name is Sylvia, obviously. Are you from the area of like Anaheim, or did you travel to the convention?
Yeah, so I'm not from Anaheim. I'm originally from Rancho Cucamonga, but I recently, a couple of years ago, moved to Beaumont. So it's not too far away. It's about 45 minutes from there, but still,
Gotcha.
I know your last guest came from Sacramento, right?
Yeah.
That was definitely, ways away. But for us, it was a 45-minute drive, not too far. So that's kind of essentially where I'm from.
Nice, nice. So was it and I think we already talked about this before, but was it a day trip? Like did you guys have to get a hotel or anything?
No, yeah, it was just one day trip. We were just there for the day. We stayed for a couple hours and went back home afterwards. So just I know that you had what was it, the 4 day pass?
Yeah, yeah, it was
Yeah,
exhausting.
yeah. When I actually ended up looking at tickets, those were all sold out. So we were only able to go, for one of the days, and we ended up choosing Friday to go.
Friday was a good day though. Friday
Yeah.
was a great day to go.
Um, the only thing that I regret, because I was in between actually Thursday and Friday because
Yeah.
we both had the days off on those days. And I ended up going for Friday, but I found out because you were there on Thursday, and I saw on the
Uh,
but Hayden Christensen was there on Thursday.
it
Yeah, so
was.
I was so because I was right there. I was in between. I'm like, all right, we should go on Thursday, and then I'm like, let's go on Friday. And I found out he was there, and I'm like, well, okay, that was kind of a bummer, but it is what it
Yeah. No,
is.
no, I get you. I mean, and I should ask this just or do you have a favorite Star Wars movie of the prequels like your bread and butter there?
Oh my God. Okay, so yeah, the prequels were actually what introduced me to Star Wars,
Same.
and yeah, so for me, that's what I started off with. I grew up with those. I had heard of Star Wars before. I just wasn't, I was like what, 10 years old or I was super young, and
Yeah.
I've never seen the original trilogy at the time. So again, the prequels were really put me into that world. And yeah, I'm a huge just fan of those. And obviously back then saying that it was kind of frowned upon by
For
the Star
sure.
Wars.
For sure.
You weren't considered a real fan if you were a prequels fan back then. And so it's nice to finally see, I guess, my generation all grown up, all, finally being here and, supporting those movies and finding other people who love the prequels like I did. And I'm just glad also that Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen are finally getting that love.
Oh
I feel
yeah.
like they never got that back then.
No.
But yeah, for me, prequels, that's my jam. That's my bread and butter. I hands down, that's me.
Heck
And
yeah.
it's yeah. Um, in terms of my favorite one, this is
I know you got to
I
kind of
might
put you on the spot there.
I know I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this, but it's actually the Phantom Menace.
Oh, see, no, I think that there's plenty of Phantom Menace love.
Really?
See, I think that the one I had an old roommate whose favorite was Attack of the Clones, and he certainly got a lot for that, I will say. But I feel like the Phantom Menace, it's like it finishes so strong, and
Yeah.
I mean that's the one that, like you said, got me into Star Wars too. So certainly no hate there. To be fair, I'm not gonna hate on anybody for any of their favorites, but
Yeah.
someone
Same.
else might. Not us.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, yes. I grew up with that hate. I don't like giving that hate back. So no.
I remember that though. Like when I was growing up, when episode 3 came out, that was like everything to me. And I was like, I remember telling people like episode 3 is my favorite. And it was always like older people or adults and things. They're like,
Yeah.
yeah, but no.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, no, for sure. Because my husband grew up watching the original trilogy
mhm.
first. So even when I met him, he would give me such a hard time because I feel like it's those people who grew up with watching those first that absolutely hate the prequels. Like they
Yeah,
want nothing to do with it. And yeah, so but for me, like going back to the Phantom Menace, I feel like the reason why I love that one so much is because you get introduced to Qui-Gon.
yep.
You get
Qui-Gon's
introduced,
great.
yes, Qui-Gon. I'm hoping to see him in this last
We have
episode.
to. We have
We have
to.
to, right? Yeah, so we get introduced to him. We have obviously Ewan McGregor as Kenobi. We have the introduction of Anakin Skywalker, and most importantly, my all-time favorite villain, Darth Maul.
Darth
Like,
Maul.
yes, as Darth Maul, like yeah, for me, hands down, like the best Star Wars villain. Like so beautifully written, everything. Like
He's so
he's,
good. What they did
he,
with him in the Clone Wars and Rebels is just so, 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 so good too.
yes, yeah, like it. I absolutely. And what's funny enough is that it was because I have heard of the show Clone Wars, which
Hmm.
all of I know your last guest was a Rebels fan. Me, Clone Wars, hands down, the better show. Um,
I would put Clone Wars higher for myself too. I do
yeah,
love Rebels, but yeah, Clone Wars is my yeah.
right? But it was funny because I had heard of Clone Wars. I had never watched it. But what got me watching it was when I watched Solo and I saw Darth Maul was alive.
Oh.
What's Darth Maul doing here? Like he got killed in the Phantom
Oh,
Menace.
so
So
that
I
was like a huge like holy shit
yeah,
moment, right?
yeah. And I was like, what? Like what's going on? I was like that meme with the calculations, like
Just trying to
yeah, trying to figure it out. Yes,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, so he's the one that like if it wasn't for me seeing him there, I would have never watched the Clone Wars. And
That's super cool.
yeah, so if anyone out there has not watched the Clone Wars, it's you're missing out. You're missing out on so much like critical information, in my opinion, like for just even the new series that are coming out, you
Even
know?
like I think the Clone Wars is even I mean, I've heard from plenty of people online and in person, like friends I know, who like didn't like the prequels, and then the Clone Wars sort of changed that for them because it adds a lot of context and a lot of yeah.
Yeah, no, the clone it just has so much information. Even I feel like you can't really appreciate the new series unless you watch either Clone Wars or Rebels because
Yeah.
even like in The Mandalorian when Ahsoka came out, if you never watched it, you're not really going to know the
No,
insignificance of that. But in Thrawn, the mention of Thrawn, like unless you watch the shows, like you're just gonna be like, okay, who are these people, you know? And
for sure.
so yeah, for me, like you have to watch those to really appreciate just even like the newer content, in my opinion. And they're great all around. Like I just feel like every episode is just so great. You know so much about the clones, and it's hands down. If you guys haven't watched it, get to it. It's
You
a
heard
great,
her.
great
Yes,
show.
absolutely. Watch the Clone Wars. It's something that, and it's not a kids show. You know what I mean? It's animated, but there's a lot of adult themes in there, and it is accessible for kids for sure. But it's
Yeah.
also not like watching puppy. Like I'm not watching Puppy Dog Pals with my nephew when I'm watching the Clone Wars. You know?
Yeah, no, exactly. It's not a kids show. But yeah, for me, definitely top three of my top animated shows. Like
Yeah,
hands,
same.
like yeah, it's beautifully written. Dave Filoni, like this is what happens when you have Dave Filoni in control of things, and yeah, that's just my take.
Hey, it is wonderful. I'm glad you said it. There's always room to plug the Clone Wars anywhere.
Yes.
But I do have a couple more questions as far as
Yeah.
celebration goes.
Yeah.
So you went there. It was you and your husband.
Yes, me and my husband, and we had our friend who also joined us,
Gotcha.
and he was also there. Like we met with his cousin and his cousin's friend, so it was a
You had a pretty good group then.
yeah, we had a good group.
So as far as like when you guys, because I had my own experiences with the health and safety checks and all. Um, did they? They didn't check. You know, they didn't check anyone's badges or anything. Uh,
Um, yeah. So first of all, thank you for your videos though, because I this was my first time going to like any just
Any
type of any convention at all in general. This was my first time.
sweet?
And yeah, and I remember just buying tickets, and then I purchased an autograph from Ewan McGregor, which was
So
our
cool.
yeah, and that was expensive. It was three hundred
And your
dollars.
story is great, which we'll have to tell for that.
Yes, yeah, and so once I spent those 300 bucks, I'm like, wow, I really need to know first of all what the heck I'm supposed to be doing because I've never been here, and that's when I found your channel
Thank
and
you.
great information. So thank you so much. Like I felt I get really like anxious when I'm in a large group of people, like when I especially when I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. So just watching your channel, I was like, great. I felt prepared. I did everything. But let's get to celebration, right?
Yeah.
We get there, and first of all, we didn't know where to park. I don't know if you mentioned it. You maybe did, but I just totally forgot. But we couldn't figure out the parking
It was a
situation.
late video I made. It was right before, but like even so, it wasn't explained in like I read everything they put out, you know? I read it all and I tried to double read it. Even on the parking one, I had my brother read it also just to make sure that I was like, okay, this is where it is. Nothing. There's a few things that they wrote articles on as far as like also great mug, um, wrote
Yes,
articles on and things. Yeah, can you show that? Is that the indoor one from?
is the
Yep,
indoor one. Yes.
I love those. I didn't. I haven't been able to get any of them, but I
Oh
saw.
wait, quick thing though, if
Yes.
they actually have the Naboo one right now on the Disney shop, that one's on sale. Yeah,
Oh
and the
shoot.
Mandalorian.
Oh,
So
I might actually go buy one after this on online.
FYI.
Yeah, heck yeah.
But yes,
With the parking though, yeah, they had like instructions, but they weren't very clear. Um, there was like the where did you guys end up parking if you don't mind me asking?
so we were we couldn't figure it out. My friend was so happy because we ended up carpooling with him, and he was
Okay.
like, I'm so glad I came with you guys because it was so even for him, he's like, if had I been here alone, I would have just left because
Oh
he couldn't figure
God.
yeah, it was just we couldn't figure it out. So at first we thought we could sneak into Disney parking and that
Yeah.
didn't work out. We're like, oh, we're like smarter than everyone. And no, we had to turn around. And in the
Seriously?
yeah, they
Ah,
it was just weird. And we ended up finding a Vons that was like 5 minutes away. We parked there and we got a lift to drop us off at the entrance.
gotcha.
Yeah, that's what did you do for
Yeah,
parking?
so there was on-site parking, but it was kind of like there's the street Catella Avenue that's between California Adventure and the convention center. And there's
Yeah.
like a turn in there that you can go to a parking structure. It's $20 a day, but it wasn't labeled and there's no signs. There's supposed to be like, there's nothing. And so even people who I met up with from like the channel on the floor, same thing. So like yeah, they couldn't find where to park. I did find a couple people who did find it, and I don't know. I honestly don't know. But we parked at our hotel because we were there for all 4 days, and it was I'm not gonna lie that we should have just. It was expensive. The hotel parking was like $28 a day, and the
Oh,
convention parking was $20 a day. Um, but I didn't know if like you could overnight it, so we just walked from our hotel there every day. Um, but yeah, the parking was kind of a mess.
yeah, it that was among a lot of things that as soon as we get there parking, like I said, we parked at a nearby Bonds. We're like, let's just go somewhere where we can park and then get a Lyft or an Uber and
Yeah.
just get parked right. But once we were dropped off literally right at the entrance where you get your badges checked, once you kind of start
Hmm.
entering. But when we get dropped off, we also noticed that there's like a huge line of people that were coming, I guess, from the hotel
Yeah.
area to the place. So we're standing there and we're like, do we cut in front of these people and go? Like we didn't really know like is there like an actual line that just like begins at? And I was like, you know what? No, I think it's fine that we cut like because in my mind I thought this was how it was going to work. I could you know I thought as long as you had the clear app on here
Yeah.
badges, I thought
Oh,
yeah, so I thought you were good to go. I didn't know that you actually had to go to the what was it, the Marriott?
yeah.
Yeah, so I thought like no, like we're good. So us and this other couple they did the same thing. They got dropped off, and first we're like, all right, let's just kind of cut in this line, and we did. and they ended up going to a separate line than we did. And as I'm about to pull out our badges, because at the time I didn't have a lanyard for our
Yeah.
pass, the guy doesn't even ask for the passes. He's just like, "Where's your bracelet?" And I'm like, "Bracelet?" So that was weird, like, so that's when we figured, okay, we have to go back and get the actual bracelets and
Yeah.
or the little
There you
bracelet
go. Oh, you
anyone.
managed to get it off in one. Oh
Yes,
my
yes,
gosh.
able to. If you weren't, this is my husband's. Like his is
Yeah.
all, yeah. I don't know what happened. I don't know if I got a dud that just didn't.
Heck
I was,
yeah.
yeah, but this is the little bracelet that they wanted you to get. And but yeah, when we walked into the Marriott, it's pretty easy. You followed the flow of people, and
Yeah.
it was cool though because you're able to get this little like lanyard.
Heck
This
yeah.
is a free one. It's not. I like the one that you got better. I was
I got some
debating.
of those too, though.
Oh, so yeah, it's free. So I'm like, let
Yeah,
me
why not? Heck yeah.
yeah. And then this is like the little Star Wars
I
celebration
was gonna
bag. Yellow.
say they didn't give those out every day. See,
Yeah.
that's yeah.
Oh, so yeah, like, and what's funny is that no one's even regulating it. We ended up getting three of them,
Heck
and
yeah.
yeah, this is cool. Like in case you didn't bring a bag, this opens up, and it's like a little bag that you can put your stuff in, and yeah, so we did that. We got our passes, and as I'm about to go in and show my pass, this is the Friday pass. They never once scanned my pass.
No.
Never didn't look at it. This didn't matter. Like we walked in, and I think you said the same thing. They didn't scan your
No.
pass. They just cared about this.
Yep,
Yeah.
that was it. And even like they didn't really they're like, you have blue on your wrist? Yep. And they just go on
Yes.
in. Did you have a
Yeah.
bag?
I did. I brought my purse with me, and the funny thing is that man, like, so they were super picky about the bracelets, and they like thoroughly searched. I don't know about you, if you like your backpack or
Yeah.
anything, but they searched my bag like in and out. Like they basically like took everything out
Oh
of
my
there.
gosh.
Yeah, and it was funny because a couple of weeks before that, we were at the Hollywood Bowl for Dave Chappelle,
Sweet.
and yeah, like it was just cool. But they didn't even look at my bag, which obviously, after what happened over there, they
Yeah.
definitely should have searched things, and which is obviously great here. Their safety is important, but I just thought it was funny that they really just cared about the blue little wristbands and making sure that you had no weapons on you. So, but yeah, if you didn't have a pass at all, I think literally if you walked in the Marriott hotel and got a little bracelet, which again, even there, they weren't even asking for a pass or anything, you could have entered.
For
Like,
sure. I had
yeah.
an opposite experience from you though as far as the bags. I don't know if you saw from the last one, but all 4 days, maybe it's we went to two different lines to be even honest. I had a big, not big, but a full size backpack, multiple pockets and everything. My brother had a backpack. Um, they never even looked inside of it. Like they would see me with the bag, and like even sometimes I'd walk through the checkpoint thing and it beeped, and he's like, "Oh, I'll get your bag checked." I'm like, "Okay." I walk over there, and the first time I had all of his zippers undone and everything ready, and he just like he didn't even look. He touched it. Good. Like okay.
Oh my God. No, even my husband was like, that's excessive. Like the guy was like going through even like the little
Uh,
my bag isn't even like that big. I was like, wow, okay. Like,
it's a lot of yeah,
yes, like so yeah, so you got lucky, which is crazy because you have a big backpack.
yeah.
So you would think they would definitely no, mine is a small little like
Like
crossbody. Yeah.
and I
Like
mean, it's just like odd because we during by Sunday we were like, let's just. I didn't even unzip it. I was like, I want to see if like, because I wanted to know if we're like making these videos. I'm like, are they even gonna check it? And so I
yeah.
didn't unzip it at all. And we walked over there. It's like a tiny, tiny bit unzipped at the top, and he just does it. And he's like, go ahead. Like,
You're
okay,
good.
all right, thanks.
Yeah, no, like that's weird. But yeah, as soon as you walk in, though, it's a total vibe. Everyone's just dressed up. Like it was just amazing. Like, I mean, I know that the last guest said that I think he said he was underwhelmed by the amount of people that were dressed up or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
But again, coming from somebody who's never been to any of this, so for me, I thought it was amazing. I saw a lot of cool, gear and everything. So I thought it was great. But walking in, that's when, and I was really hoping that on your first day that you would post a
I
video of
know.
yourself in there, because I'm like, how does it look in there? And
See, but keep it a surprise, you know, a little more exciting there.
but yeah, because I walked in there and first we didn't know exactly where to go, and the only reason we figured it out was because like he had to text his friend or his cousin, like, hey, where are you guys at? So they
Yeah.
kind of we just walked in, I guess, where the main like where all the stores
Yeah, the
were,
main floor area.
main floor area. That's where, we walked in, and even that was overwhelming. It was like everything was just everywhere,
Yeah.
and yeah, so it's, yeah, we even had like we tried to have like a plan of what how we were going to execute it, but it was still, yeah, there was no way of effectively going to every shop, like,
Yeah.
in a nice way, because it was just so
It
things
wasn't
are
super well configured.
uh,
For sure, because like in 2019, and to be fair, there was a lot more booths and everything. But that's also I don't know if that was a COVID thing or like a restriction thing. But it was like very clearly like rows of just rows and rows and rows. There was a lot of vendors though still, and I think that like the Anaheim Convention Center is cool. It was kind of like confusing at first to find the store and things like that because they're detached, and so that
yeah.
was like okay, I was a little bit lost there, um, but it's definitely overwhelming. Like when you walk up, it's cool. They have the big fountain. I think the presentation of the place is great. Um,
Yeah.
they definitely get you with those food truck smells when you're walking in.
Yeah.
Did you eat
Yeah.
any of those? I don't know if you guys ate there.
No, we didn't. We immediately like ran in, we're just like
Oh
texting,
yeah,
it's like, eat this later. And then we didn't even get to try. By the time like we left, we were just so beat and tired
for
and just
sure.
ready to go. But no, I'm like, I kind of regret, there's a lot of regrets that I have, that looking back, I'm like, oh, I should have done X, Y, and Z that I didn't do. But
See, one day though, it's tough because you know it's a lot to like. You get overwhelmed by the initial like, oh my gosh, we're here. We've been
yeah.
waiting for this, and there's so much that you can do.
Yeah.
Um, but hopefully, you know that gives you a little bit of a taste for the next time.
Oh, for
Um,
sure.
which I honestly we shall see. Right now, London isn't looking fantastic, money
Same with
wise, but
us. Yeah, no, it's just when they said London, we're like, oh my God. We were thinking it was going to be at least in the States,
yeah,
And when they said London, we're like, oh, okay, like that's, but yeah, we're still trying to make that happen.
same.
We're, yeah, so we'll
Although
see.
I'm hoping the next one is in the States again. If they're going in their same little path they've been doing, they went when Disney took over, went Anaheim, London, Orlando, Chicago, and now back to Anaheim and back to London. So if they're just sticking true to this little formula, hopefully the next one's in Orlando. That would be fun. I've never been to Florida.
Me neither. Yeah. So I'm anywhere in the States, like for sure. I don't like, we will be there. This one, London, we're trying to make it happen. We're not saying no yet, but
Yeah,
it's just definitely, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
definitely, definitely. What was your let's see what was your favorite purchase you made while you were there?
Oh my God. There's so many. Well, first, when we got in there, my goal, first of all, was to find a poster for you and McGregor to sign. Like that was it. That was like my main like thing. And I know I remember asking you like if they had free one, because like I had never done this. I've never,
Yeah,
yes, I don't know what the heck to expect. And they did have some posters for you, like the little generic ones that you can get, for
like
example.
8 by. Oh, do you have some?
Yeah, so this is like one of those little ones. And so these are all free. So people who haven't been there, it's just you literally grab these, and I even
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I
like
did not know that you could just grab them because I got some autographs and I didn't take any of them, and now I wish I would have.
okay, so I will say, I think it really depends on the people who are there, because
Yeah,
I just saw these, I'm just grabbing
heck
them like,
yeah, why not?
and no one said anything. And then it wasn't until we were already in line and this one had just gotten added. This one wasn't in the original like group that we had, we
Yeah,
didn't see. and this girl asked this lady, like, hey, can I swap mine out for this one? And she said, yeah. And then I'm like, oh, can I grab one too? And she was like, oh, don't you already have one? Like, she immediately kind of shut it down. And I was like, no, I don't have anything, she's not going to check. So she
No,
ended up getting me one, but I can tell that she was very like, if you have one, like, it's kind of like one and done. So again, it just kind of really depended on,
you kind of came up there. Heck yeah.
yeah, so I got three. I'll take these. But yeah, so when we went in there, we got there around, I want to say we were inside the convention by 11 o'clock, and I had my appointment, if you will, for
Yeah.
the autograph was at 1:30. So I immediately was like, right, we need to find some posters. We need to find something for him to sign. And so that was my goal. And we found there was, I think, I don't know if there's multiple areas where they sold artwork, but we were at one of them where they had a bunch of artwork hanging everywhere. And then they would have little kind of stands where they would dump all this artwork.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you kind of had to be in line to wait your turn, and people will kind of be scrolling through. And you kind of, if they didn't like something, they passed by it. You kind of had to be like, oh, wait, let me grab that real
Yeah.
quick. Kind of the only way you can get the
Yeah, it was
poster
kind
that
of tough. I was over there too trying to find a couple pieces and I couldn't find them. But pretty organization was kind of odd there.
yeah, it definitely was because you're literally just standing there and waiting, and then finally, you get your turn. But other people, like I said, if you pass by something and somebody else wanted it, you would just hand it to them and still kept on your search. One of um, one of my favorite purchases, which unfortunately I didn't find until after I had already got mine signed, was this post. I have it framed. I'm gonna
Oh,
try.
sweet.
I don't know if you guys see that.
Oh yeah.
Battle of Camino by, I think his name is Sabi Menihai or something. This one was my favorite. It's because I was looking for something from Clone Wars. Like I said, I love it, and that was the closest thing I found.
Yeah, I remember you said that. I mean, and I noticed it too, but I think you were the one that pointed it out to me, right? That there wasn't like a ton of Clone Wars,
No,
um, like merchandise or anything.
no, there was nothing, and I ended up. I don't have it on me, but I bought a T-shirt. They only had mediums left though, and it had like all the like all the important clones, like Captain Rex, his helmet, Fives.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, the one with the Ahsoka Tano printed, like her little, yeah. So that was cool. We ended up using this one for Ewan McGregor to sign.
Heck yeah.
We still have it in the little plastic. My husband's like, no, this is,
That one signed though.
yeah, this one is signed. You won't. Let me see. With the glare, you can't. But it's like over here in this corner somewhere.
Okay,
The
wait, no, I think yeah, no, we see it. I see it.
yeah,
Ah, that's
yeah.
awesome.
Um, and we have another poster back here. Yeah, so a bunch of stuff. But he signed that one, and we were in between two. Let me grab that. This is like another one we got. Darth Maul.
I didn't see that one either. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So they're really. It's like you. That's the frustrating thing because there was hardly anything, and as soon as you're about to leave, you see them dump new things in there.
Oh no. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was, yeah, we were in between that or the other one to sign. This other one that I had wanted, again, like the one that I first pointed out to you, the one that was framed. That's another story, but I originally wanted that one. Then we were in between these two, and we were in line for him, and we couldn't figure out like which one we wanted. But just going back to that line of the process, it was kind of even frustrating because it turns out that even if you had a scheduled time to go in,
Yeah.
it didn't matter. Like you
Which is
kind of,
crazy.
yeah, like then why do I have a scheduled time? Like yeah, because our friend, well, my friend's friend, he was like, hey, you know what? It's 12 o'clock. Like if I were you guys, like if you guys want, you guys can go now. Like I don't think they're checking the time. And yeah, so we went there, and yeah, it wasn't even our time to go. And by the time he actually signed it, it was technically the time that we should have been
uh,
in. Yeah, but yeah, no. For me, the artwork, I love posters, so that was a really good purchase. Another thing that I got, because aside from aside from posters and artwork, as you can tell, I love mugs. So I ended up getting this
Oh
little Star
shoot.
Wars like mug set. It has all lightsaber duels. Like, so we got Attack of the Clones. We have the Phantom Menace, just like
Yeah.
the famous like fight scenes on there, and it comes with like hot cocoa. And it was only $20 for 6 mugs, so
That's not bad at all.
not bad. It's for 6 of them. Like, I'm all in for that.
Sorry, I just can't clear my throat. One sec.
I know it's always when you have like a meeting or something going on that you trust me. I'm like,
Oh my
I'm
gosh. Oh, the hardest time. I think I'm good now though.
good, yeah. But for me, yeah, that's essentially all. We have another poster back here, which you can't really see, but it's essentially like we were talking earlier from Russell Walks. He did your
Yeah.
the Awakens back there. Mine is the Phantom Menace. It's all the way back here though, but it's cool because he actually signed it for you, and
Yeah.
yeah, it was $50. So, and it's great pieces. I think they're beautifully like made and everything. Just yeah, if you they I think they might still have yours still. I'm not
Hmm.
sure. But a lot of them got sold out because when I went back to his website, I wanted I think it was the Empire Strikes Back. I
Yeah.
really love that one. It was all sold out. They still have this one last time I checked. And oh, and you said that he actually designed
The
the badge.
badges. Yeah.
So I was like, oh, and you got yours signed.
Yeah. I didn't even know. And then he was like I was talking to him for a minute. Well, I was talking to his wife there as he was like dealing with someone else, and then I went over and talked to him, and he's like, yeah, he's really cool about it, and he's like signing it. Like I made the badges too, if you want me to sign that, and so that was really cool.
Yeah, no, I had
Um,
no idea. And I'm not going to lie, 'cause I had seen your other videos where you showed the older badges, and I love those badges. Like, so
Same.
I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of underwhelmed with these after seeing
Yeah.
your like, oh, well, these kind of,
A little
I'm not.
underwhelming.
Yeah, but once I found out that he was like, he did the artwork and everything, I kind of
Hmm.
appreciated a little bit more. I wish I would have got mine signed. Had I known, I would have done the same thing too. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. Did you get any free merch while you were out there?
So I definitely got a couple things. I'm trying to think. Um so I mean I had a friend give me one of a Chewbacca pin, which is great. It was like I think you had to buy this like $100 figure to get it.
What?
And he's a friend from work, and he was there, and he just doesn't care about pins, and he was like, "Hey, here you go." And it's like, "Oh, thank you
God.
so much." Let me see. Let me go grab something real quick.
Yeah, yeah. If you guys aren't already following him on Instagram, follow him at the Fan Awakens. Like and subscribe to his channel. Like he puts out great content. I feel like still it's content that you're not really seeing out there from the main YouTubers. So for sure, subscribe to his channel if you guys haven't already.
Okay, so I don't know where I put it yet. It's in my well, in this. I have like a unorganized pile of things from Celebration right here. But so I got that pin. I got some I got a free Daniel Logan print, and it was signed by him, which was cool. Outside of that, free stuff. Um, I mean, $20 from from a guy in the store who I bought a shirt
No,
it on his behalf.
the only reason why I ask is because we were by the Lego area,
Uh huh.
and I guess if you there's some guys that were out there who were working that area, and if you filled out the survey, they would give you free ATSC little
Oh
Lego.
shoot!
Yeah, so we got
What?
two of those. Yeah, so you just had to shout out to Nico from Celebration who was there. Because I don't know about you, but my reception on my phone sucked. I could not post anything. I was having so much issues. Like I don't. It could have just been my phone. My phone is just a piece of trash right now.
No, you're
But
fine.
yeah, so first you had to do a survey. Show one of them that you did the survey. It was like literally 5 seconds, and they gave you the
That's
Lego.
so cool. What the heck?
Yeah, so I was having so much issues with mine. He's like, no, here, like, you'll, I trust that you'll do it. Here you go, which I did. And yeah, so my husband did one, I did it free. And then by chance, we were sitting, because there wasn't much places to sit down when you're,
No, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, we happened to be sitting down by this, we thought it was just some empty booth, but we got like a free little beanie, a little nest
You got a
beanie.
Neff beanie? What the heck?
Yeah, like so
Dang.
like our yeah, we just got I guess we just got lucky. Like, oh, this was a little survey that you had to sign when you were there for the Lego set. And yeah, I guess we just got kind of lucky in terms of that free merch. So that was
That's
cool.
awesome. You guys came up. You were only there for one day. That's awesome.
One
You guys
day,
got some great stuff.
yeah, I couldn't figure out. I don't know if it was just me, like again, because I've never been to these
Hmm.
events, but I couldn't figure out for the panels you had to, and it was like a little lottery system in order to,
Yeah.
okay. And aside from, because there was also another thing that they send you an email saying that it opens up at 8:30, where you can like go online to wait in line for something. I didn't know what that was for. I tried to go, I was waiting in line for whatever it was. I think it was like for some kind of pass, the lightning
Yeah. It's
or
pointless. It's painful. That's what it is.
yeah. That's what
So
it was, but I tried and I didn't get it.
so basically like yeah, before this I think it was like on the before the 22nd you had to enter the lotteries to try and get um into the big panels every morning, which I got into none of them, of course. But even if you don't get into the main stage, they have two other smaller stages that live stream it. But in those stages, if there's anything that like they would normally cut off from the live feed online, it would still play in there, so you still get the full experience. And you still get like if they give out a shirt or a poster or a beanie, you still get that at the end.
Okay.
um But you think about it, this like I don't know how many people attended, probably like 70,000 or something. I think that that arena holds 7,500, but they cut off about a third of it, so it's probably like closer to. And they put seats on the floor, so maybe let's just say 6,000 people. Um, then that's not a lot of people. It's about a tenth of everybody who's going, um, which is it's a great experience if you happen to get in. And I don't have any sort of like disdain for not getting in, but you can try and get in by either going super early and going in standby line, which is no guarantee. You probably have to get there like right at 6 a.m.
Yeah, yeah.
Or you can try and do the lightning reservation thing, but like you said, it opens up at say 8:30 a.m. Every
Hmm.
day I was on it at like 7 something, and I would just check in because if you click on the link, it'll let you wait, and as soon as it hits 8:30, you'll immediately put you in line. I still never got it. I never got a single one.
See, yeah, that's what I was really like, and I couldn't figure out. Like, I like what you said that there's other sections where technically you can kind of maybe like see it, but we couldn't
Yeah.
even figure out how to even do that. And yeah, that sucks. So I hate that system. It's like I get why they have to do it that way, but at the same time, it just blows because you're hopefully waiting for that email that says you won it, and
Yeah.
then at least yeah, I just hate that you literally feel like you really don't have any control of that. And it's yeah, I was really bummed out we didn't get to do any of that either.
I know
But
that the let's see, so like if you don't go to the first panel of the day, if you don't get in, you can always wait in line, and they had some good panels. The Attack of the Clones panel was great. 20th anniversary one. Ewan and Hayden both came out, and there was a whole thing. But they
yeah,
didn't come out initially. It was like an hour-long panel, and they didn't come out until like 40 minutes in, and then they brought two more chairs out and they showed up. So there's people who were there hoping they would see them, and then they left because they were like, "Oh, they're not there." I had I
yeah,
don't know if you saw from the last episode, but one of my friends from the channel who came from Colombia to see them, and he was in there and he left.
yeah.
Uh,
See, yeah, that's what you that sucks. Like that's what you have to just wait it out because you don't know with
yeah,
the that sucks. I would be so bummed out if that was me, if I were to have just left and missed out on that. Because like I said, just even hearing that he was there and even missing out on that Thursday,
yeah,
like that for me that bummed me out. So the fact that he left right before, like, oh, that's a killer.
painful. One thing I'll say is like I do think honestly, and I understand why they kind of had to set up the floor how they did. with,
Yeah.
I know it's easier when they put the big Star Wars show stage by the autographs and stuff because they could just funnel the people in and out from backstage and they don't have to have like, the actors walking across the floor and getting like surrounded or anything. But in Chicago, it was nice because when you walked in the floor, everything was all surrounded around that one central point. So like the stage was right in the middle of everything. So like no matter where you were, um, all the panels were live streaming, and so like you could stop and just watch it from pretty much anywhere, um, which was nice. With this one, it was kind of out of the way. Like the stage was so far on the left, and there's nothing around it that, and you couldn't really hear the speakers from the floor itself, like the proper area of the floor. So like I missed out on a ton that I wish I would have like just lingered around more to catch things, but
But still, I mean, the fact that you were still able to, be around that, because we didn't even know where the heck to even go to that. Like, I think we were mainly just at the shops, and we spent, and so much time gets spent just even being there because there's so
mhm.
much that, like, literally all our time was spent there, aside from also waiting in line for,
The autograph.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I mean, if I had to, let's see. So I mean, with Hayden and Ewan, like that was such a, um, definitely the best part of it for us, just because we like my brother had never gone, and my friend who he's not even like he's a Star Wars fan, but very, very much. I didn't expect him to ever want to go to this. He just kind of last minute was like, hey, you're going to that thing, right? I'm like, yeah. Like, can I come? Like, I mean, I
oh,
can
okay.
try and get you tickets. And so he's never even heard of the Clone Wars. He didn't know a Kenobi show was coming out.
Breaks
um
my heart.
I know. He still hasn't seen episode 9, hasn't seen episode 8. He hasn't seen Solo. But he just wanted to go. And so I'm like, yeah, man. So like he was like he didn't expect it to be like such a thing, and he thought it was super cool, but like when Hayden and Ewan came out, people obviously flipped, and we
Yeah.
were right there, like, very, very close. And I had like, oh my gosh, it was like a shocking moment seeing
Yes.
them, together. So that's something I'll certainly cherish for a long time. But
Were you able to record while you were in there, or was that like not allowed? Like when?
it's actually a great thing that you brought up. Oh my gosh, one sec.
No, you're good.
But I don't know what happened. I left my fan on when I slept, but that was probably it. So in Chicago during the big panels and stuff, if you're in the room, usually they put your phone in like a little one of those protective like pockets that lock so you can't record, you can't take pictures or anything. Um, but on the stage, like they can't enforce any of that because it's all and it's all live streamed, so you can totally record. We do have like a really low quality picture of us like taking a selfie with them in the background, which honestly I looked at it that day and I don't think I've ever looked at it since because it's so bad. But yeah, so you can totally record and all that stuff. We have like videos that I was like, oh, I'm gonna put them together into like a TikTok. That never happened, but
That
yeah,
happens all the time. Yeah, like, oh, I'll do, and then yeah, it never happens. But yeah, I was wondering, like, oh, could you like, yeah, even reminds me back at for Dave Chappelle, you had to put, your bag in this little
yep.
magnetic thing where you had designated areas. So I guess it kind of makes sense why there. It's just, yeah, it'll be kind of harder to enforce, or I don't know. Like I can kind of see why that was not done, but
Yeah,
yeah,
especially because when we saw Hayden Ewan, it wasn't in an actual panel; it's just on the floor.
yeah,
And so like, it was a great moment, and I saw like I was shocked that there was no one at the stage. And it was like 4:30 or something, and I had heard that they weren't there, and so I was like, let's just hang out and hope for the best because they have the teleprompters there, and so I learned that from 2019 is that from a production standpoint, they have to have the teleprompters up so the host can see what's coming next, but so can we. And so
yeah,
you can kind of see like if there's something coming up, usually they'll like bring it up and then take it down to make sure it's like working, I guess, and then bring it up again. So like you can and they don't put the actor's name in there a lot, but usually they say everything but. So luckily we're able to get a good spot for that. I know that like they showed Mandalorian footage that I still haven't seen. It was exclusive to the panel.
yeah.
They cut off the stream for it. and I don't know if they lock the phones for that. I heard they didn't. Um, but even a friend, they tell you in the panel like no video recording, no flash photography, but they don't care.
Yeah, they don't care. They're like,
Just go for it.
yeah,
That guy Parade from last week, the last episode, he sent me and shout out him. I don't know who's no one's gonna watch this, but not like that. But he just sent me tons of screenshots of like or pictures he took of the Tales of the Jedi panel, and it looks so cool. So excited for that.
yeah. I've heard. I haven't seen the trailer that they showed, but I've heard good things, which is interesting though that you said it because technically people can they're able to record.
Yeah,
So, but I haven't seen it. So I don't know. I don't know if people were like, okay, like
I
maybe
can't.
I haven't, yeah, maybe I haven't searched hard enough. But I remember, I do remember hearing once that trailer came out and immediately searching for it like a couple days after,
Yeah,
and I couldn't find anything.
same.
So
Which is
yeah,
surprising. Like I don't know if I mean you can't be on it that hard where you're getting every video down, right?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, oh, and then I mean, I haven't searched for it since. I don't know if now
Me
if you
either.
look at maybe it's out, but I mean for the time, no. Like so, the only trailer that I've saw, what was it for Andor, the new,
Yeah.
yeah, which super excited. I'm excited. Yeah.
That was
Um,
probably my favorite trailer of the. Not that there was a ton of trailers, but I thought that that one like got my excitement so much higher than before.
Yeah, no, just because I mean, I don't like to include Rogue One because I feel like that one's its own standalone like
Yeah,
movie, but that one, aside from the prequels, I love Rogue One, Cassie and Andor. Like, oh my God, like I'm so excited for this series. Like, I think Rogue One was such a great movie, and so I'm excited. I've been waiting for this ever since I heard that they were going to make a series. I've been waiting for this, and then seeing the trailer, it looks so good. I'm excited. Like I'm ready for this series.
and
Hands
the
down.
cool thing with Rogue One is like I feel like it was the most universally accepted amongst these movies because like the prequel fans liked him, the sequel fans liked him, and like the original, it was just kind of its own like little pocket that
Yeah,
it added to the story so much, and it was just like yeah, Rogue One was great.
yeah. Like you said, it was great. Just it's so funny because obviously, like going in. I mean, I'm assuming everyone at this point has watched Rogue One,
It's
so
okay for spoilers.
yeah, like okay, I'm assuming it's been out for a couple of years already. But yeah, I remember watching it, and when everyone died, for me, like even the ending when they're, and he's embracing Jen, or so they're like hugging. I'm like, no, they're gonna get saved. Like I did in my mind, I'm like, there's no way
Just
you're killing everyone, and when they all you just see the planet from far away, and I was like, wow, like I genuinely didn't see that coming. And for me, that was just, I couldn't believe that they literally killed off every.
everyone.
Yeah, and then we had that amazing hallway scene with Vader. Oh, chef's kiss, that was.
That's yeah, that's how you end a movie. Like that's
Yes,
I
yeah.
certainly didn't see that coming with Vader. I did not see that scene happening.
Ah,
Um, I remember being in the theater opening night, and just once you hear like it's the screen's dark, so the whole theater's just
yes,
super dark, and you hear the breathing, and everybody's like, "Oh shit!"
yeah.
And
Yeah, exactly. I was there. Yeah, when it first opening night, which I'm missing theater. Really, those I'm
me
missing
too.
movies for that. Being around everyone and just hearing Vader breathing, the light coming out from his saber, like everyone lost their minds. I just, it was just, I love those moments, and I definitely miss them. Kind of bummed out no movies are coming out, but hopefully soon. But yeah, I'm again going back to the series. I'm super excited. I've been a huge fan of Diego Luna. Like, yeah, I grew up watching his movies. Like, he's been around. Like, he did obviously more Spanish movies,
Yep.
but if you know him, you know him. And so seeing him, great representation, just a great diverse cast, great writing. This is how you do it. I feel like I I have no complaints. I'm
Yeah.
excited for the series.
The
So
production value looks really high. Diego Luna is super passionate. He's so
yeah,
talented.
yeah.
I haven't seen I hadn't seen much of him at all before Rogue One, but Rogue One put me on like a Diego Luna binge afterwards. And he's so good.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's definitely it's like I said, it's different. Like all his previous movies have been in Spanish
Yeah.
mainly. And those are really good. They're all, I have nothing negative to say about those movies. I like I said, I grew up watching those, so I love them. When I found out he was going to be in a Star Wars movie, I
It's
couldn't
a
believe.
huge deal.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm here for it. I'm here for his series, and excited to see where it can go. I mean, they can't kill him off, so
True.
yeah, they can go for as long as they want with this guy, up until a certain point. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, I'm assuming we're gonna see him and K2 come together.
Yeah,
Um, and the production value looks really high. I'm sure they'll introduce a lot of new characters in this one because he's kind of, and maybe we'll see characters we already know, but I think
yeah,
that this is a great opportunity to make some new ones,
yeah.
and characters who we can hopefully get attached to, and then, they can maybe, if they meet a demise that might hurt, but obviously Cassian is safe, uh, for
Yeah, he's
now.
safe. Yeah, we know he's dead later on. We don't have to worry about him. Like, unlike the Mandalorian, we don't know where that's gonna go. We don't know, so
Yeah.
we'll see how that like.
Um, let's see. Let's see, as far as celebration goes, what is one thing I noticed was there was a lot of vendors, but there wasn't a lot of like there's a lot of vendors that were kind of missing, I'd say, or not like a ton of like the big vendor presence. But is there anything that you wished was there that wasn't? I know you were talking like Clone Wars stuff.
Yeah,
um I
yeah,
didn't, yeah, I really didn't see much. There was a couple, like there's Ahsoka art pieces, but I really thought that there would be more like Anakin Obi-Wan pieces, or even Obi-Wan Qui-Gon.
yeah,
um
yeah. No, like going back to like, it was weird because, like, I want to say I enjoyed my time at Celebration. I think it's definitely an experience that everyone should go. Like, if you're a fan of Star Wars, it's definitely something you should go to. But in terms of vendors, I was kind of, again, underwhelmed in a bit. Like, I feel like there was a lot of stuff, but you really had to search through things to really find it, and it's already hard enough because there's a billion. I mean, there's a lot of vendors
there
out there.
is.
So finding out where it is, because stuff is literally everywhere. And going back to what you said, like, yeah, I felt like I was on a mission because I knew I wanted Clone Wars merch, things from obviously Kenobi because I was getting something autographed by him, and I didn't see that. I hardly saw anything either, from the prequels, from the Clone Wars era. I didn't see anything except for that one poster that I bought
Yeah.
and the t-shirt. That's it. And so I was bummed out because I thought for sure they were going to have something there. And yeah, I didn't see that. And there were also some stores that I couldn't quite figure out. Again, I'm a noob here. I've never like been to any
Yeah.
of these events, but like the Funko Pop store, like was it just that one? Because I didn't see any actual merchandise on
Yeah.
the
So Funko was a letdown in a lot of ways. No offense, I had fun going in there. I had
yeah.
two lottery wins, but like I went in and they didn't like the Funko Pops they had, I'll admit, were kind of plain. Like they reused a Chewbacca mold that they had already used for The Force Awakens. And the big one that I wanted was they had the glittery Grogu, but then I
Mhm.
found out it wasn't even in the Funko booth. It was only in the Celebration store, so they didn't even have it. And so I was like, "You guys don't have the Yoda?" Like, "Oh no, we don't have it here." I'm like, "Well, you're the Funko booth. Like, come on."
See, yeah, that's even the Loungefly store. Like they
Yeah,
only had a wall, I guess, when you walk in, and just like the merch, you get to kind of like, I want this one, and they give it to you. Like I don't know how it worked. I didn't
yeah,
actually go there, but yeah, I felt like things were everywhere. If you wanted something, you had to go to completely different. Like it was. So I get what you're saying. So that was weird. I didn't buy any Funko Pops this time. I have a couple. I'm not a huge collector. I'm
hmm,
very kind of the one going back to the autographs, like in celebration and regrets. I was thinking again, if anyone's there, you have to do what you want to do when you're there.
yeah,
Just if you want to do it, just that when you see something you like, buy it because we're like, oh, I like this, but let me go to a different store and see if I find something else. And then you'll forget, and then you leave, and you're like, oh crap, I didn't buy any of the stuff that I liked.
for sure.
Yeah, but I have this Captain Rex Funko Pop from, was it the fall convention? It's a 2018 exclusive,
Oh,
and
sweet.
Yeah, this is like one of my prized possessions. Captain Rex is my favorite clone, obviously, and I was thinking about bringing him so that D. Bradley Baker could sign it. And at the time, I was like, no, I don't need to bring it, and I'm totally kicking myself for not bringing it
We're
because I
not
think,
bringing it along.
yeah, I think his autograph was $80. I want to say,
Yeah, I think so.
it wasn't too high up, but even when we were in line, we there were so many people who were there already. We had Anthony Daniels was there. We had was it the Kerry Jones? Is he the
Yeah,
black?
he's
Yeah,
Black Chrysanthemum. Yeah.
yeah, he was there. D. Bradley Baker was there. Sam Witwer was there. All these people were there, but the funny thing is, there wasn't a huge line for any of them when
Yeah.
we're yeah, like so it was the perfect time to do it. The only line that was long was the one that we were in for Ewan McGregor, obviously.
Yep.
And yeah, I was thinking I should have, looking back, I'm like, I should have got, you know, my
Brought
stuff
your
signed
pop.
by him. Yeah, my pop signed by him, even. Yeah, so just I could have done that. And which I didn't do. And again, it's just one of those things where if you're thinking about it when you're at an event like that, just do it. Like when else are you going to kind of get a chance to see all of these people and get, autographs from them? And but yeah, going back for Ewan McGregor, like that line was even kind of a hot mess sometimes.
I bet.
Yeah, a lot of us when we would walk, we didn't even know if we were in line for the right thing, and because it was so long, people were like, "I think this is a line. We're all standing here."
Yeah,
So
really
we're just
confusing.
there. Yeah, it was, and once you like they check you in, you have like a little barcode you have to scan, and they give you this little card that it's this blue card that you hand off to them when you get it signed by you. And but from there you get put into this different line, this group of lines, and again you don't really know exactly which line to go to.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird, and I want to say it took us like 35 or 45 minutes to actually see Ewan McGregor for him to sign our poster. But the time went by so fast though because you're just surrounded by people who, we all love Star Wars. Everyone's just talking. Coincidentally enough, the guy behind us and his wife, they were from London. They
Oh,
yeah, yeah, because they were talking because we were trying to figure out what poster to use, and we were just talking, and obviously I heard an accent. We're like, oh, where are you from? And he's like, oh, I'm from London, and
damn.
now it's like, damn, we should have like kept in
Yep,
touch.
yeah, I should have networked there.
I should have networked. Totally didn't think about it, and
Hindsight.
yeah, but everyone's there, and the time went by so fast, and then for those who haven't done the autograph either. So we're in line. And then once you're about to go to the main line where you actually see Ewan McGregor, what they do is before you get there, you hand your card. It's this blue little card that has literally his name on it. You hand over the merchandise that you're going to get signed. And there's a whole bunch of people. Like it's just a row of people. I guess it's all for him.
Yeah.
And he's just there. And as we're in that main line when we're seeing him, I'm seeing that he's literally just signing and handing things. Like he's not even looking at people. I'm like, that kind of, that's kind of a
It
bummer.
is.
So they're like, all right. So finally we decided what poster. We hand it to him. And you get to pick the color marker you want him to sign. And by chance, a girl in front of us, she talked to him. She was saying, "Hey, like it was great to see you and Hayden Christensen yesterday. I guess she had the all-day
Yeah.
passes for it." And he's like, "Yeah, this and that." And then finally, it comes to us. And in my mind, before I knew how fast it was going to go, I had an idea of what I wanted to talk to him about. Ask him.
Yep.
And it was my first time ever even meeting a celebrity, and it's like what they say, like it sounds so cheesy, but I was so like star
Starstruck.
oh crap, like so I just had this big old cheesy smile. Like my husband makes fun of me to this day, but he looked at me, he's like, where do you want me to sign? I'm just like,
Uh.
yeah. I'm like, what? I like turtles. I'm just like, what? I don't know. So I'm like, I don't know. Like, wherever you want to sign, it's fine. He's like, okay, okay. Like, I'll sign here next to my face. And he signs it. He looks at it. He's like, this is really nice. Like, I like this because when you look, everyone else was getting the generic posters signed. I think,
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it stood out a little bit. There you go.
oh yeah, so he looked at it, he's like, I really like this. This is really good. Like, I hope you guys have a good day. And he handed it to us, and I I still had this big old cheesy smile on my face, like, oh, thank you. And my husband's like, thanks, yeah. And it was just great.
See,
That
those
made,
are great stories.
yeah, like the fact that he literally was just signing and passing things. So a little part of me was like, man, like he's just gonna like
Yeah.
look at us. But it was great. I loved seeing him in person. It was just, the little kid inside of me, like, seeing the prequels, seeing, Kenobi in person was just, it was great. Like, it was worth the $300. I know a lot of people were kind of upset at the price, once a
I get
celebration.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I get it. Yeah, for sure. $300. It's a lot of money just for an autograph and a moment, if you will. And but for me, that just was worth it 1,000%. And you know, can't.
100%. Like,
Yeah,
especially with Ewan McGregor, like his line was different than everybody else's for sure.
yeah.
And even on the website, which, of course, I'm not surprised that it didn't stick, but they were very they had like print in there saying that like everybody has times, but you can go whenever you want, except for Ewan McGregor. It said your time is your time, and obviously they abandoned that.
They
Um,
abandoned that. No, for sure, because everyone was just getting in line. We got in line at 12 o'clock. It was around like, it was definitely not 1:30 because by the
yeah,
time we left, it was literally like 1:40. So we were like, oh, no one was looking at the time. They were just like,
do
so
you have your
again,
ticket?
yeah, they were strict. Obviously, when you're there, they're strict on, how fast it goes, obviously, because
Hmm.
there's so many people. But aside from that, no, it was kind of like going back to the blue little wristbands. If you have a little pass, a barcode that says you're there for Ewan McGregor, then they didn't really care. They didn't look at the time.
Yeah, when I went to get my Sam Witwer autograph, which I got my a mall pop autograph to pair with Ed and Ahsoka autograph from the last one, and they were like it was kind of a game time decision, and I was like, okay, yeah, he's over there, and there's like no line. And he's like, okay, well, he might be leaving soon, so I can give you a 4:30. It was probably like 12:30, and I was like, okay, but do I have to wait till then? And he's like, well, you can go anytime he's there, but you should probably go at 4:30. I'm like, all right, can I just get the ticket? And he's like, yeah. So you want 4:30? I'm like, that's fine, I guess. It doesn't really matter, right? And he's like, okay, 4:30. And then he gives me my ticket, and I go back over there, and he's like getting ready to leave. So I'm like, okay, we'll come back at like 3 to see if he's there. And so we showed up at 3. There was no one there in line, and he wasn't there. We came back at 3:30, and there's huge line, and I was like, oh my god, 30
Yeah,
minutes. And so he was signing, so we got in line. It probably, and the thing with his line is like, it wasn't close to the size of Ewan's line, obviously, but it took a really long time because
hmm,
he spent a lot of time with every person, which is great and super
yeah,
nice. And I think he's more able to do that. Obviously, as less one, he has a less busy schedule,
yeah,
but also much less people to go through. But he was super cool because we went up there. Me and my brother both got to go up, and we both got to talk to him for probably like a minute or so. Um, and so that was really cool. When we got
yeah,
Jonas Suotamo's autograph, who played Chewie in the new ones, there was no one in his line, so he was super cool about like just having a
yeah.
conversation.
Got it.
Um, but
That's
I think that that's so cool that you and actually stopped and like one complimented your poster,
yes.
which is a benefit of getting your own stuff because if you need to, the papers are there. They're awesome. They're still great prints. But I do think that to your benefit, you actually went out and got something that actually stands out, and so it's pretty
Yeah.
great.
For sure, because I mean, then again, you're spending $300. Like, I don't want to get some generic poster. Like, as I was looking at everyone, and they just had. I'm like, really? That's what you guys? I mean, no,
No,
not to say anything negative. That like they're great pictures, but you're spending $300. Like for me, it was almost worth putting that extra effort. Is spend a little bit more so you can get something that is unique that you can hang up and it's gonna look good. It's not gonna be something that literally everyone's kind of going to have. And again, going back to him actually noticing that it's different than from everything else that he signed. And so yeah, it was great. And But Sam Witwer, like that's a good one to have, and I regret not getting his.
Yeah,
I love him. He's great. He's so talented.
super talented. Yeah.
Yeah, so talented, and which is funny going back to him and Maul. Like I had no idea that like Disney kind of banned Ray Park, I guess you can say, from.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there exactly, but
I heard some things like I think he might have posted something on Instagram, and I don't really know. I'm not allegedly. I don't
gotcha. I mean,
know.
I follow him, so I've seen a few things that he's posted. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I think, but he's. I think he's so talented. It's kind of, it kind of sucks, when you get like, things like that happen. I think he's a really talented guy. For me, he is Darth Maul. In live action. So we'll see what happens with Maul if we ever see him again in live action. Like who's going to?
Honestly, I don't know if this is like sacrilegious. I don't I think I could see Sam Witwer playing Maul in live action, right?
I won't be mad at that. I think that's the only way I'll be okay with, because I think he's already put like established himself as, you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
as Maul. So I wouldn't be upset with that. But me as a Phantom Menace fan,
Mm,
that little part of me is like, oh, that kind of sucks. I love
yeah.
Ray. I think he's great. He did the he also did, like, what was it for the Clone Wars, the last couple
Yeah.
of. Yeah, so that
The
was
mocap, super cool.
yeah, that was. He's like, again, he's great, he's incredible, like, so it's unfortunate, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean he was really cool when we met him. I know I've talked about it a bunch of times, but um he was just like he kind of led the whole like making a point to greet us when we went to go take the picture with him and Ian McDermott. Um and so just from my short experience with Ray Park, he was very 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 kind. So that's all I'll say on that one. But as far as like there I do think that right now we're kind of in a moment that's unfortunate too, where I think a lot of because I my favorite Star Wars movie, it kind of bounces back and forth between episode 4 and episode 7. I love episode 7 as like a just its own thing. Episode 8 and 9, like there are moments that I really like, and there are moments that I don't, and I'm just kind of like I teeter totter on those as well. But we don't really see many sequel we don't see a lot of sequel actors like go to Celebration now that they're kind of like done. And I know they've gotten like a lot of hate for sure. So it's nice seeing Kelly Marie Tran there, but I really like. I would pay. I might sell my kidney to get like a group picture with Daisy Ridley and John Boyega as a group.
Yeah.
So
No,
hopefully, I'm hoping that over time, similar to how the prequels went, things warm up, and
yeah, no, I 1,000% agree with you. And I feel that's, again, when it comes to the fandom, they can be very, like I said, I've been on the receiving end back when I loved the prequels and it
yeah,
wasn't a cool thing. And it's unfortunate because I actually, The Force Awakens, I think it's such a great movie. I love, Ray, I loved Finn, Poe, all, like, I think they, it was, I love them. I thought, but I get why people are upset
for
because
sure.
I feel like the other movies just kind of went a different direction all of a sudden. Like it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. But for me, I still think I was entertained. I liked them. Were they the best ones? Like, no. But at
Yeah,
the same time, like, I hate that, a lot of times these actors get so much, heat for what
yeah,
they're essentially paid to do. Like they're, they don't make the script, they're working the best with what they got, and it's unfortunate, like, because I think either way, like, they did such a good job. And even like with the whole situation with Reba, like, I just think it's
yeah.
it's fortunate, like, man, like you guys, like, be cool, like,
Like
let's.
this is I know they're getting paid and all that stuff, but like this is probably like I mean the biggest moment of like a lot of their lives. You work as an actor and you work and work and work and finally get this big break, and it's Star Wars, and then people just like I mean in Reva's case, Moses Ingram, that's just like really really low. Um,
Yeah.
but like just in general, like I don't see Adam Driver ever coming back, and like at least the celebrations and stuff. I don't even think he wasn't at 2019 either, to be honest. I know he stays busy for sure.
Yeah.
Um, so like yeah, he's super busy, but I really hope that somehow they can rectify a relationship with like John Boyega and Daisy Ridley and Oscar Isaac. Even I love him too, and I
No,
like the sequels. Yeah, I like him.
yeah, no, I think they're good. And like you said, I think it's going to be a prequel situation, which years from now we're gonna look back.
Yeah,
It'll be people would appreciate them a little bit more. I think right now it's still a little too fresh. I mean, hey, for me, it took what like almost 20 years for
yeah.
like the prequels to be like finally on the radar. And but so it's I feel like that's just going to be the similar situation with the sequels, unfortunately.
It's a
Which again,
sad thing.
yeah, it is because yeah, yeah, it is. But hopefully, like, yeah, I feel like hopefully those actors will realize later that they were appreciated, that they did have a fan base because they do. There is a fan base
Yeah.
for them, and unfortunately, it's just not mainstream yet for you people to be talking about it, I guess. And
There's like because there's a lot of like sequel cosplays there. You know, a lot of
yeah,
Ray cosplays, Finn
great.
cosplays.
Well, she has
Um,
a great getup.
she
I like,
does
yeah. So for me, like, for a girl perspective, it looks comfortable. Like, it looks good. So
for
for me, like,
sure.
I would wear that, like, hands down. Like, that would
It's
be,
functional. You know, it's not like no, and this isn't me throwing any shade at all, but like yeah, certain female characters don't have the most practical
yeah,
outfits for sure.
exactly. So for me, I'm like, oh, okay, great. Like, it's not only cool, but it's practical. Like, sign
Right.
me up. Like, that's one that, if anything, I will probably end up getting.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, they obviously have a lot invested. Obviously, the parks are like their biggest ride in Galaxy's Edge is focused on Force
Yeah.
Awakens, the sequel focus, and all that stuff. So I don't see them
Sorry, I
abandoning that.
charged it, and then everything went a little wonky on me.
Hey, you're good. We're still gravy here. Um,
So let me give me in case it like turns off. Just give me 1 second. I
totally
want to see
fine.
what's
Um, what
going
I will
on.
say while she's figuring that out, let me just switch. No, wrong
Yeah,
switch. Never mind. Oh, we're good.
we're good.
I tried to click away to a different scene and it didn't work. So I'm glad. I'm glad. Let me ask you this: what was your favorite, if you can remember, favorite cosplay you saw? Because I know Parade was speaking on like I was underwhelmed by the cosplay, and I think that comes from his background of like he goes to a lot of smaller conventions where like it's super cosplay heavy. Like it's
Yeah,
almost a given that if you're going, you're cosplaying. Whereas Celebration, as much as I would like to do something I didn't have like the time, the talent, or the money to like put something together. I know that that's kind of an excuse because someone can make cosplay out of anything. But was there one in particular that stood out to you?
Um, let me think. I'm sorry. Is right now is it all sounding good or is it kind of
No, you sound good still.
okay? Good. 'Cause for some
And if
reason, I'm seeing it's kind of slow on my end and it's kind of
it
distracting. But
does look like maybe it's like a little out of sync, but
yeah, yeah. So I apologize
you're
for.
fine. Trust me, the audio is more important and you sound great.
All right, all right. So for me, I saw a lot of Mandalorian. So obviously that was and Boba Fett. I saw a lot of those. So for me, just I think those were great altogether. I don't have anything negative to say, but again, I can see from your the previous guest. What was I don't remember
A
his name.
parade. Also, if you wanted to, real quick, and it'll give you time to think. Also, if you wanted to, you could don't know if you can leave the call and rejoin, and I can just to see if it fixes it. Totally up to you.
Yeah, yeah. Let
Let me see
me
if I can send you a link.
sorry
Uh,
guys. I meant to put this on charge like from the beginning, and then for some reason now it's acting a little wonky on my
Trust
end.
me, you're totally good.
Like, what's going on?
Wait, it might fix itself. I think
Um,
no. But either way, it's totally fine. We can just go as is. Trust me, you're totally fine. Or we can try and reset that. Up to you.
um, let's. I'm hoping it will. It's so distracting. So I'm like, oh, I'm so far behind.
Um, it's totally up to you. If you want to, we can just roll with it.
Let's just roll with
Sounds good
it.
to me.
Yeah, hope
Um,
it fixes itself. If not, I feel like once I unplug my laptop, it should be.
I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, okay. But no, for me, I like I said, I feel like everyone that I saw was I thought, like I said, coming from somebody who's never been to any of these events, I enjoyed all of it. I thought, I saw
Yeah.
a lot of Mandalorians out there. I saw a lot of, Boba Fett. I saw just for me. Oh, you know what? Actually, no, there was a Queen Amidala that I saw. Yeah, someone was dressed up as Queen Amidala, and I haven't seen her like, someone
Yeah.
actually in so long. So I think that was one of
It's
like
a
the
fair
better ones
point.
I've seen.
What
Yeah.
what kind of was she in like her episode one costume?
Yeah, episode one costume. Like,
Sweet.
yeah, so I haven't seen that in forever. So I thought that was pretty cool. There was also a guy who had his kid, I don't know if it was in a stroller, but they made it into this little fighter kind of like,
Oh,
that you
that's awesome.
yeah, so I don't know how but it had, if you press buttons, it would like light up.
Oh, what the
So
heck?
yeah, it was very, he did it himself. He's like, oh yeah, I did this. I built this myself. So it was really great. Yeah, no, for me, like I said, as someone who's never been to any of these events, I like
Yeah. I mean, for sure, like I'll admit, like my brother, when he was going to college, he had some robotics classes and things like that.
mm,
And when he first started showing me some of the stuff he was doing, I'm like, oh, we're gonna make like an R2. And that obviously is we looked into it, it's a lot. We're way in over our head on that. But
yeah,
even like how people use, electronics in cosplays and things, like how the Boba Fett's and like they'll have the little little light up a display on their breastplate and things. It's so
yeah.
cool.
It
Um,
really is. Yeah. I feel like, especially when you go out of your way, it's just, I appreciate the effort that really goes into it. And yeah, for me, I think people did a great job. And like I said, not to talk trash on your last guest, but I thought it was great. But this is coming again from someone who this is new to. So I guess that's why you're able to appreciate it maybe a little bit more.
yeah, I mean, I think that I don't think that's any shade thrown at all. I think that um, everybody has their own expectations going in, and like even if you watch like I don't know if they're still on YouTube because I tried to find them to link them in a video and I couldn't find them, but there was someone and I feel bad for not remembering their name, but I remember watching these videos in like 2018 before I went to my first celebration, and they had these like a long like 2 hour 3 hour like walkthroughs of celebration, um
Mhm.
and there is like for sure like a more voluminous cosplay on display, so like I can understand like if you're super into cosplay and that's like what you're doing and you see
Yeah.
those videos and you're like, okay, there's gonna be like 75% of people and it's not. Yeah, I could see it being let down, but I think like you said, it's such a task too to like if you're committed and you're using like boots or like uncomfortable shoes and you're wearing all this extra bulky stuff and you're walking the floor, like it can wear you down. I was worn down and I was wearing comfortable clothes. I had
Yeah.
like walking shoes and shorts.
No, exactly. Even I was too, and I was only there for that one day, and like the next day, I woke up feeling like I had ran a marathon. Like I was,
Yeah.
I was exhausted. Like I was sore from like walking around, and so yeah, like you said, like I don't know how people do it. Like even one of the guys that we were with, he also, had his like own getup, but he even had to take it off every now and then because it was too much. It wasn't conventional. Like
Yeah.
he couldn't sit down because the little like his legs like the part just
What
it
was
was
it? What was he dressed up as?
he was dressed up as he created his own thing essentially,
Okay.
like a Mandalorian clone,
Nice.
like yeah, but his was red, and he did his own, and but yeah, like he was saying, he's like I can't sit down, and even like the parts that go like on your stomach, they don't bend, so people don't realize
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
I
just
know. I mean, it looks great and like it
yeah.
but yeah, it's not a lot of times they're so uncomfortable to wear from everyone I talk to.
Yeah, and it was funny though because their weapons had the little
Zip tie?
zip ties on them. So I thought that was kind of funny, which I mean it makes sense, but they're like, yeah, these are like the zip ties, so it shows that these aren't real, and
It's funny
like
too because I saw them putting it on, and it could be different for other people, but when we're walking through line, I saw them like I get it to a degree, but all they're doing is like show me your weapon, zip tie, zip tie. So like
yeah,
I don't know what it's really accomplishing. Um, But
I guess they just have to show that they're taking precautions,
yeah, I think that's a good thing. But like, oh man, they didn't even check them. At least in those people, you know.
Yeah, I know. So, yeah, for those people, but yeah, that was interesting. But aside from that, yeah, I loved it. I love my experience there. I hope that I get to, go to the one in
Yeah.
London. We'll see how that goes. I don't know,
Did
but
I tell you about the hotels in London?
they said they were sold out, right? Like they're
Yeah,
all booked, right?
everything is booked, and I know they have better public transportation. But like when I searched it, I went to like Expedia and Travelocity and like different. I tried to look up the hotels on their websites and things. Um, it's like everything within that radius is like just grayed out, sold out. And I found a couple of options that are pretty close. And granted, I haven't checked in like a week, so they might be gone. I'm really hoping that Celebration already like reserved a bunch for their like private hotel block like they do every other time. Because if not, that's gonna be pretty annoying, to have to like go to London and then travel from like a further hotel to the
Yeah,
place. Um, so it's a lot of figuring out. Hopefully,
yeah.
we both end up going and we can like and we meet other people and make it
Yeah.
easier that way. But
Yeah, no, I think that'd be great, especially like if we're at least coming from the same state going
yeah,
over, you know what I mean? Like it's nice to meet other people that are, so you won't feel so alone, I guess you can say. But yeah, I'm hoping we get to go. We haven't again, we'll see how it looks. It's just yeah, especially with you saying that all like the hotels like around the area were already grayed out and
yeah.
everything. Um, were you planning on getting like the all 4 day pass, or will you just stick to like going to one day if you were to go?
So if I go, I'm definitely gonna try to get the 4 day. Like even if, and right now it's not financially, it's not looking great, but if certain things work out and I can make things happen, I would love to even get a VIP badge just so I don't have to like. I mean, you get in half an hour early every day. You get into all the panels without having to reserve anything. Obviously, it's usually like $1,000, which is a big um, investment there.
Yeah,
Um, but like ideally, and it comes down to a lot, like ideally I'd like to stay there for a week, um so I can see something outside of Celebration, because when we went to Chicago, it was a 5 day convention. We stayed for a week, so we got there the day before and left the day after, and we were so tired every day that we didn't get to see anything in the city at all. Like we walked miserably to eat dinner a couple times. And like we saw the bean, but we're like, we don't want to walk. And it was so miserable.
yeah,
Um, so like if I could, like, since there's 4 days, if I could just have one day to like see things, I think I'd be okay with that.
yeah,
Also, if I'm going alone, because I would certainly be going alone if I make it out there. Um, that's the whole thing with the hotels. Like I would love to have it close enough that I could take a break and just like go to the hotel for an hour or two. Um, but I don't know. Like if you were to go, what's your like way too early plan?
yeah. Well, we were thinking of if anything, we would go just get a 1 day pass,
Hmm.
but just kind of use that as an excuse to do like a Euro trip anyway.
There
So
you go.
just because I hear that once you're there, it's easier to travel. It's also less expensive to travel to other places when you're
I didn't think
you
of that. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so that's why that's the only reason why we were thinking of just going with the 1 day pass and
I mean, absolutely.
yeah.
That actually makes a lot of sense, and especially if because I didn't consider that at all, to be honest. How much it would be easier to like travel once you're within.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're thinking of, either, finding a package that kind of, would include, London at that same time, or one of the places that we've been wanting to go is Ireland. So maybe going to Ireland from there, 'cause, again, just flights and everything, just transportation is supposed to be like cheaper when you're traveling from there.
Yeah, yeah,
So we figured because I have never been out, to Europe or anything.
me
So
either.
yeah, so I'm like, why not use that as an opportunity on top of going to an amazing,
Heck
event?
yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, might as well. So that's what we are thinking. So for us, if we can just get that one day, to go there, and then eventually that'll be great. But I get what you're saying though. If you want to go for all those days, it's going to be hard, especially if you're just going to be there and all the hotels that you're looking at are further out. Like that's yeah,
Yeah, because we were about a 20-minute 25-minute walk from the convention center, and we
yeah,
walked every day because like I was like I'm too cheap to pay for an Uber, I'm just gonna walk it. And I did that. I regret it because I was so dead. I wish I would have just forked up that extra, like 100 cumulative dollars.
yeah,
Um but like with, especially if, like LA, I'm familiar with the area. I go to Disneyland not often, but once a
yeah,
year or so, and like we've been down there for a bunch of stuff. Like in London, that's, I have no idea. I have no clue. Like the
yeah,
money is going to be an issue with like conversions and
yes,
plugs and all that kind of stuff. Um, but as far as like, I'm excited. I'm hopeful.
yes.
Uh, but we'll see. I think that
Talk about it.
one another question I have real quick is hypothetically, if you could have one thing announced, one new thing announced next year, and you're there, what would that thing be? Because I'll give you a minute to think about it. For me, um, I think that really I just want anything movie related. Like I know Taika's movie they're saying is next up, and I can't count how many times we've heard since like the last couple years, oh, this person's making movies for Star Wars. This person, there. None of them are being made. The Ryan Johnson, the Dan and Dave, which I'm glad isn't after Game of Thrones and hearing what goes on there.
Yeah.
But and like Patty Jenkins, they released a whole video for it and nothing came of it. Um, Kevin Feige, and like there's all these. So I just feel like at this point it's such a broken record that I just need them to stick with Taika and let him do something, and just I need to be in a
Something.
movie theater. So that's my thing.
No, honestly, I was thinking about I love series because there's so much you can do with it, but I want to see a movie. Like, show me, I'm waiting for a movie. I'm waiting, like you said, I miss going to the theater. I miss being around like everyone, hearing the collective, reactions from everyone when we see, something cool. So I'm hoping for a movie. What that would be, like, I'm not sure. Just for me, I'm open to anything. Like I'm excited that we're having all these series coming out. With the Bad Batch also coming out. I think in the fall, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that. But definitely just see. I want to see a movie. I don't care what that would be right now. I'm open. Of course, for me, I'm very biased. I love anything from the Clone Wars era. So if we were to just get something from there, that'd be great. I know that there is rumors that from Kenobi right now, some people are assuming that Star Killer might be, somebody that we might see. Who know? People go deep in these like theories
They
that
do. They
know,
do. I
we'll see.
honestly, yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, I think that like for me, I never played the Force Awakens game. Force Awakens. Is it the Force Unleashed? Sorry,
Force
Force
Unleashed. Yeah.
Unleashed. Yeah, I never played them. I've seen them, and like I just never happened to have them. Uh, so like I don't have the nostalgia to it, but I do think that Dave Filoni and Sam Witwer are obviously good friends. I think that with Dave Filoni involved, it's only a matter of time before Sam Witwer gets involved in live action somehow.
I'm hoping. Yeah, I think he's underutilized. Like we need
Yeah,
him. So I would that'd be cool to see. Which is funny because I know a lot of people were. I think I haven't played the game, so I'm not gonna. I've never seen. I know who the character
yeah.
is. I haven't played it. It's funny. My
Nice,
husband's
me either.
actually. Yeah, my husband's downloading the game as we speak. He's like, let me play this. He has all the other ones. But yeah, I guess when Vader in the most recent episode, when he's holding back the ship, people were saying that that was like a flashback, I guess, to the game or whatever.
Ah,
Yeah, but for me, the only
okay.
flashback I thought of was Ahsoka, when she was trying to hold back Maul. So I just thought it was interesting because a lot of people, that's like, I guess, the first one that came to mind. Where for me, I'm like, what? Like, what are you guys talking about? Like, but I've never played, so I wouldn't
Wait, when he
like.
was like pulling the ship down from taking off.
Yes.
You know what's so funny? I think that's so great that you mentioned that because okay, so you got that from Ahsoka, which now thinking I'm making that connection, and then there's another group of people who are putting the comparison from The Force Unleashed, which I don't know the moment, but I actually had a third thing because I kept thinking of like in episode 9 when the transport's taken off with Chewie and like Rey's trying to pull it down and then Kylo's trying to pull it down, but neither of them can do it. And then seeing Vader with this like ship that's much bigger, just
Yeah, it's just
pull it down with ease,
it,
really.
yeah, no, that was incredible, and it's funny because the second one that I also thought of that one because again, like I'm like, oh, also, I thought of that afterwards, and yeah, but that was a great scene, just seeing like how powerful he was, and
Yeah,
just yeah, I that was awesome. I'm supposedly there's supposed to be another fight, right? Assuming
yeah,
yeah, so we're supposed to be getting what is it, the fight of the century or what the rematch of the
because that
century?
definitely wasn't it in episode 3
But that
or
what's
4.
funny is that so many people were giving so much like grief on like Kenobi like sucking. I'm like,
I
well,
don't
guys,
mind that at all.
no, for me, I'm like, well, he hasn't used the Force in
Yeah,
10 years, guys. Like, he's not going to be great. And for me, the way I was thinking of it too was that Vader doesn't know that Kenobi hasn't used the Force, and he last time he fought him, he got demolished. So I thought he was going in it kind of cautiously, not as confident as or
it's
overconfident
actually
as
a
he was.
great point that I hadn't thought of exactly. Like I loved that he wasn't, Obi-Wan isn't in great form here. But that's actually a really fair point as far as like the last time. You're right. He got handled. He got very
Yeah,
easily, not easily, but he got beaten very badly.
yeah. I mean, remember him and Mustafar? Like he was tore up from the floor up. Like
It's a
he. So I
lot.
Yeah, so I think he came in not knowing he doesn't know what Kenobi's been doing, that he's literally been not using the Force. So he's going in cautiously. And then, Kenobi hasn't used the Force. So I think for me, that fight scene, the way it was, it made total sense. Like, for me,
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, yeah. And I remember watching it at night, and I remember even feeling scared for Kenobi as Vader was just walking down killing people. I was like, oh crap, like I'm actually kind of scared for you right now. Like I don't know what's gonna happen. And seeing him get dragged around in the fire, that was crazy. That was amazing. And so I don't know what the haters were talking about. I've enjoyed it so far. I understand, some people, you know, I understand why some people are getting mad. Like my only gripe with the show so far had been lack of Clone Wars or flashbacks. Like
yeah,
for me, it was like don't toy like and bring Hayden Christensen back and then not show him at all because at that point anyone could be in the Vader
for
suit.
sure.
Yeah, but seeing last for me, the last episode made up for it.
Crazy.
That was man, that's how you do a flashback in my opinion. Like that was great.
And speaking of like the hate, and I'd rather talk about praise than hate, but like we'll bring it up for sure. Like I've seen nitpicks like, oh, he looks old. Well, yeah, he's 40. I think it looks great. Like if you can't, like if we're gonna accept everything that's happening in the show, the Force and this and that, like you can't just in your minds just imagine that this is back in the day. Like just let it be.
It's I no for me I get that too. Like yeah guys, like I'm sorry, like he's a 40-year-old man, like I'm sorry he looks his age, but yeah he's 40. And I get like they could have put more money to make him look younger, but for me it's like it's too nitpicky. Like
Yeah,
just
same.
it is what it is. It's real life. You're old. Like he's 40 years old. Like
And like when I was watching it, it wasn't like a thing where I was like, "Oh man, look how old he is." Like I was in the moment. I was in the
Yeah,
moment.
me too. I was totally in the moment. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I love the flashback. I love seeing that. For me, it was a great episode. Yeah, like
And yeah,
I think,
with Obi-Wan in that episode, sorry to cut you off there. Um one thing that like you pointed out with him like Obi-Wan getting like dragged through the coals or whatever they were. Like obviously you can't kill Kenobi, but they put him through it, you know? Like
yeah,
obviously you can't like cut off an arm and things like that, but um I thought that they did a great job of like making him suffer
yeah,
without, obviously breaking the canon.
yeah. So yeah, like I think they did great. again, like I said, my only complaints up until that time was just the lack of. I wanted to see Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker, so obviously that is Clone Wars flashbacks. That's the last time we really see him like that, and but we finally got that. But it's interesting to see what happens in this. This is the last episode,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
As
Last
far as we
episode.
know, yeah. I don't think so far they haven't confirmed that there's going to be a second season. So as of right now, this is the last episode. So I can't wait. I'm here for it. Like I've enjoyed it.
I've seen like the I avoid leaks and all that kind of stuff because I heard there's a ton. But I did see that supposedly, and I almost don't even want to say this, but supposedly a bunch of people have sent me like, oh, it's gonna be an hour and a half. It's gonna be an hour and a half, and I honestly don't believe it. I won't believe it until I see it. I hope so.
I
Um,
hope. Yeah.
but like, oh yeah, my only gripe too is I don't have many gripes about it. My
Hmm.
only gripe is just that like the production value sometimes seems a bit low. When
Yeah.
I heard that it has a $25 million budget an episode, which to could put it compared, have you watched like Stranger Things?
I haven't. No.
So or either way, like I'm watching Stranger Things and The Boys, and Stranger Things has a 30 million episode budget, and The Boys has something a little less. But both of those shows, and this I'm not trying to throw hate, but they look almost like a movie. Like it looks like I could see them putting that on in a movie theater, and I wouldn't know the difference between that and I wouldn't know it was television. And with Kenobi, I certainly feel like sometimes I don't
Yeah.
know what that budget fully went to. Um,
To
but
the
yeah,
actors.
to the actors, fair. Yeah, they definitely had to back up the Brinks truck for
Yeah.
Ewan and Hayden. That's probably correct. You're right on that one.
No,
Um,
I get what you're saying though, because there's times when I'm watching it and I'm just like, that because I totally see what you're saying. I've seen other shows that are just done, and I'm kind of it's interesting though because you would think a show like Kenobi, like
yeah,
they would go all out, but like I said, I don't know. Maybe most of the money went to Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen, like so
but
I don't know.
I'm liking the show though. I'm liking the show a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like I said, I love the show. It's just it's so funny hearing people kind of nitpick at it, and I'm just like, oh my god, you guys, like, let's not bring Hayden out of his cave just to go back into it after, like it's
Doesn't
I
it
don't.
feel though like no matter what, there's always gonna be, and I know the Mandalorian is almost like the outlier, but
Yeah.
it seems like everything outside of the Mandalorian, for the most part, everything that we've ever gotten in Star Wars since like the prequels, there's always that like,
Yes.
and
He,
yeah,
yeah. No, for 1,000%. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it's just there's always people will find something to complain about, and that's just it's unfortunate. And yeah, I just for me it becomes unacceptable once you start actually targeting the
yeah,
actors. Like that's just like come on, you guys. But yeah, you're right, we can never get one thing and just be happy. Like it's one thing, yeah, like let's say a storyline, there's obviously some writing in there that I'm kind of like, which you
yeah,
mentioned too with I think with one of your reviews of the show where O'Shea Jackson, when he was like, I'm not gonna help you guys. Okay, I'll help you
yeah.
guys. It's like, oh,
It's like
okay,
that's
like
kind of whatever.
a little right. Some writing is kind of a little all right. What's everyone's talking trash about Reva, but the one character that I gotta say annoys me is oh god, what's his name? The guy who plays the Eternals, that in the
Oh,
Eternal.
King. No, I'm Kingo. That's his. Uh, oh my gosh, he's one. Kumail
Yeah,
Nanjiani. Kumail
yeah,
Nanjiani.
him. I find his character annoying. Like he's the only character who I can't stand. Like I'm sorry.
You know what the funny thing is with that too? It's like I'm a big fan of his. Like I'm quite a big fan of his, and he started as a comedian, and now he's getting into movies and all. But I I've seen him in serious roles, and he's very good in them. And I don't like when they like pigeonhole him like, oh, they're a funny guy. Let's just try and make them funny. And I don't think he needed to be like a lot of the jokes, like his demeanor. I don't know. He's a funny person. But yeah, it does feel like he's in his own bubble of the show. Like this is like a little, yeah,
Yeah, sorry, computer is gonna start doing the lagging
You're
thing,
fine.
and how do you call it? Yeah, because the way I like exactly what you're saying. It's like he's getting typecasted into this one specific role where it's just
This feels
he's
out of
the one
place.
character. Yeah, it took like what's her name? Game of Thrones lady.
Uh,
After she died, Tala.
yeah,
Yeah, so this part where she had died, and then once everyone rushes in, he's there with his comedic relief, and I'm like, no, Game of Thrones lady didn't just like sacrifice
yeah.
for you to like make a joke, and it's funny because I feel like Wade's death was way more serious afterwards, like, and he was only there for like 3 minutes.
That's actually a yeah, and that's something that like I don't know if it's like I know people say like Disney-fied and stuff. I think it's more of like just everybody's trying to. I don't know. I don't think we need it. You're right. You're absolutely right. I don't. That could have just not been there and made the moment feel more impactful for sure.
Yeah,
Um, because
yeah.
I don't. I've talked about this episode with a bunch of people, and usually when we mention Tala's death, it's like, oh yeah, she died, but there's not like that lasting like punch, you know. And
Yeah.
Ewan did such a. She was great. Ewan was fantastic. Even the droid was good. Like I
Yes.
was like, oh man.
Yeah, you know what? R.I.P. He didn't get the respect that he needed afterwards. Like they were just forgotten, man. Like it, like you said, it wasn't impactful. And yeah, that droid helped Kenobi. After he was dragged in the fire, and then yeah, it
Um,
was kind of like
I have a question. I'm curious. And I haven't really thought of this a lot. There's a lot of talk going on of like, and it kind of seems to be simmering down. But like, there's a long time where people was like, movie theaters are dying. Um, we're not going to be able to have movie theaters forever, and they might go out of business. And which I certainly don't think is the case. And I think that right now there's a lot of big blockbusters that are, getting. Top Gun is at like 900 million right now.
wow.
Um, but I was wondering like I don't know how practical it is, but if they were to show like Kenobi episodes, for example, in theaters, is that something that you would go to or would consider going to if like it's a reduced price? So not like say a normal ticket's $13, it's a 30-minute episode. They'd probably still charge the full thing, but say it was like I don't know, 750.
No, hands down. Even if this series would have been in movies, like done it, I would have still gone. Like I don't think movies are dead yet. Like in my opinion, like I mean, it's funny because with the after the whole pandemic, I definitely feel after we came back from that. Now when I find out that a movie isn't being streamed somewhere, I'm like, crap, I have to go to the theater. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
great, I have to actually get out of my house. But for I think when it comes to movies like Star Wars, like that have such a huge like fan base, and it's not just like some random movie that they just made. I think people will still go to those. Like
yeah,
that's hands down like a movie I would go see. We actually watched Top Gun, but the only reason why I watched Top Gun was because my husband was a huge fan of the first one. Aside from that, I wouldn't have gone, but you best
there.
believe if it's a Star Wars movie, I would go for that. I would go. Like
I
I
do
would.
have a question that's a tangent because you went to see Top Gun and I don't know how your experience was. I wasn't a huge Top Gun fan or anything. Like I've seen the movie. I don't have like a ton of nostalgia for it. Um but like I mean before the pandemic I was going to the movie theater like 5 days a week. We lived there. So
Same.
we still try to go like when we can. We certainly don't go that much anymore. But when I went to see Top Gun, we saw it in IMAX and it is a full theater. I mean, almost very few seats were left open. Me and my friend were both 26, 27. The only people in the theater, I mean, the only ones without white hair.
Oh my god, you know what? That's the thing. Like, I do feel like the younger people, they don't. I'm in my 30s.
Mm,
So for me, I'm still, I guess, at that age where I like to go. I'll still go to the theaters, but I
yeah.
do feel like the younger generation, they don't do that. It's
I don't want to make it sound old or anything. Obviously, I mean, I'm 26. It's not like that, but yeah, like even so, and I know Top Gun. It's like it's a big thing for like a certain crowd that like watched it. And then like I know a lot of people watched it, but there was a lot of older audience for it. But my brother, who I take him to the movies with me all the time too, he's 23, um, 24, 23, 23. Sorry. But he watches almost everything on his phone, which I can't do. I can't do it. Um, but like if he can watch a movie on his phone, he absolutely will. I don't care if it's like Dune or like some big thing. So like I get that that's a whole thing with like theaters, but I don't see them going anywhere. They're still making a ton of money. We won't get those smaller movies in there very much anymore, but
Yeah, no, you know what's funny though, because when we watched Top Gun, there was actually a good mix of
yeah.
every age. So it was actually a little bit packed. And even we recently watched the Jurassic Park, the newer one that
Mm-hmm.
just came out, and even that, like, it was a good crowd that was there. It was still they were still packed, and even we had to watch an earlier showing because of our schedules. But when we're trying to find a later showing, they were all sold out. So it kind of just goes to show that certain films,
Yeah.
people will take the time if they're only being released, out in theaters, and people will go. And like I said, I don't think it's dead. It's just put out the right movie and people will go for it. I think
Yeah.
there's something special about watching, like I said, I love being surrounded by a lot of people and then watching a movie, and I think that's a great experience. And
Yeah, there's nothing quite like watching like a Star Wars movie on a release date in theaters. Like it's always such a big like communal experience and everybody cheers
uh,
when the opening crawl comes on.
yeah,
With like even with Marvel movies, it's usually like that to a degree. Obviously we get more Marvel movies, so it's not as huge of like a once every, and now we haven't had a Star Wars movie since 2019, which is
yeah,
still hard to believe.
exactly.
But like another thing with that whole like I don't know, with the movies, obviously we have this Taika movie coming out, which we don't know when, or we don't know anything about it really.
Yeah,
um I know that he said he's trying to make all new characters in a whole new area, so I think it's going to be its own separate thing wherever it takes place.
yeah.
um but I mean, I'm excited for that. I think that Celebration is still, it's looking exciting. Hopefully, even if worst case scenario we don't make it to London, the fact that it's only 10 months away, hopefully would mean that the next one is also like 10 months after that, so it wouldn't be like the longest wait in the world.
Which is crazy to think that the next one's literally 10 months away from now. Like I feel like time is just going by so quick, and especially now. Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm hoping that the next one will be nearby in the States.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I do too, and I don't know if there's. I know that real quick. Also, before I let you go here, because I don't want to take your whole day up. I know that you don't have a YouTube page exactly going right now, but that is something you might be working on in the future.
Yeah,
Um, so
yeah. Um,
so
no,
yeah,
go
so
ahead.
I just wanted to say that like anybody who's looking to get to your content, if you want, let them know where to find you on Instagram and wherever else. Of course, I'll link everything in the description below. But floor is yours.
Yeah, so again, thank you for having me. And if, I'm sorry that my video is going so slow right now. But yeah, if you guys can follow me at coffee underscore and counseling, and also all underscores in between. And that's where I am on Instagram. I would love, I always put out like I'm always posting specifically on my stories a bunch of Star Wars content, even though my page is for counseling, which is so funny how that's just like shifting. But yeah, I would love, go ahead and follow me and follow Eli at the Fan Awakens. He puts out great things. You'll get notified when he puts out a new video. Follow and subscribe to his channel. Actually love your work, because I feel like a lot of things that you're covering aren't really being covered by like the main top ones. And I think, again, it's super important, especially because you're, again, for people who are maybe not even that into Star Wars, who are getting started into this world, you're putting out the information that I think it's, important to know. And like I said, had you not put out those videos for Celebration, I wouldn't have really known what to do. So Yeah, thank you for that. And because all the other ones were just talking to me like if I've been there a billion times. I'm like, I don't know. Like I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Like show me step by step what I'm supposed to be doing because I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that means a lot to me. I appreciate that a lot, and like I mean, it just means a lot. I think that a lot of times, and I watch a lot of Star Wars content creators. They're all, they make really great stuff, but
Yeah.
a lot of it sometimes feels like inside baseball. Like if you don't, know everything,
Yeah.
sometimes I think that it can be easily like discouraging. And this isn't for everybody for sure. But like, I've certainly felt discouraged because I didn't like read everything, like read every book or every comic, and like I try to keep up, but I don't I
A
don't read
lot.
everything. It's a lot of stuff. We're busy, Everybody's got their own things going on. But something is Star Wars is for everyone, whether you just like you like lightsabers or if you've read every canon and Legends novel that has ever been written.
Hmm.
So I thank you for that. Again, Sylvia is super, super, super kind. I love watching your stories. Honestly, I don't post a ton of my stories and I need to get more on it, but I do always go to your stories and that's where I learn a lot of things sometimes. So
Good.
like if I haven't caught up on something, she's pretty much always posted it. So
Yeah,
definitely
I know.
give her a follow.
Yeah, and I'm hoping sooner rather than later that I'll start posting because again, I want to post videos that are really just again for fans like us who were into Star Wars, but they're not like all the main YouTubers where you're seeing unless you know all that background info. Sometimes it is hard to follow, So I really like you. I just want to focus on the basics essentially. So if you guys are interested in that, stay tuned. I will be posting and hopefully collaborating with you as well. I love talking
Absolutely.
and talking to someone who loves Star Wars as much as me and yeah, so thank
Yes,
you again
so
for having me.
thank you for joining us again. And honestly, like you're always welcome on anything I ever do because you're one of my favorite people in the community. I haven't done like a lot of collaboration. And honestly, if you're welcome to it, if you want to reach out, but I did want to do this show with people who like I've connected with first and sort of get the identity of it. So thank you for being a part of that. Hopefully we can do a lot of stuff in the future.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but again, as always, may the force be with you all. Star Wars is for everyone, and we will see you next time. Thank you, Sylvia.
Good,
Peace.
thank you.
Thank you so much.